everybody. This is Tomas Fernandez for Hope Through Arts, and today my special guest is Maria, and she's a painter and a courageous individual, as you'll soon hear as we delve into her story of becoming an artist. And Maria, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, and thank you for that very nice intro. And that's very humbling. Hope you enjoy the this uh, time together.
Well, let's see. Your story starts with another exceptional person named Catherine Fetterman, who you met in a prayer group. And tell us a little bit about what Catherine proposed and why it was an intriguing challenge for you.
Yes. Yeah. I met her through Curcio, and we were on team together, and she was. We have we were prayer partners, and we were prayer partners for a week, and she goes, one day she goes, how would you like to paint? And it just really started from there. I was like, well, I don't know if I want to do that because I cannot see colors, and I've never seen colors because I've been blind since birth. But she made it happen, and one one September day, we got together, and we painted at a park close to me, and it was one fall day, and we um we had like a lavender flower, and the bees were trying to be around us, and we had acorns flying everywhere because it was windy. So yeah, but I mean it was quite an experience.
So instead of being in a perfect studio where everything is just right, you braved it and went out into the park where the wind is blowing, the bees are buzzing, and the acorns are dropping down all around you.
Oh
That's,
yes.
that's a great beginning if I ever heard of one.
Yes. Well, thankfully we didn't get hit by one, but yeah, there were. I mean, because it was a nice weather. It was like in the fall, during fall, and people were walking their dogs, and I mean, it was windy, but it was nice.
Good.
It
And
was,
were you sitting on a bench or on a blanket? What was the scene
we
like?
were we were sitting at a bench. Actually, it was a nice setup.
That's good, and I presume it wasn't too chilly yet. It was
No, it was not. It was not. It was nice. It was very nice.
so that was really the first time you've handled paint and brush together, and probably working on watercolor paper, I would imagine. Tell us a little bit
Mm,
about that.
we were working on acrylic, and it was it was very exciting to hold the brush for the first time, and I'm like, I'm painting, and it's fun. It's like you're just playing, and she made it fun and very she made it very easy, and um she she made a lot of people say, oh, painting is very expensive, but she didn't make it look that way.
Well, yes, it's something that you can find the bargains and paint, and I'm going to bring up a picture of you and Catherine together. And we've featured Catherine in another program, so our audience is already familiar with Catherine and the work that she's doing. But it looks like you two have a very big smiles on your faces. It looks like maybe you're sitting inside Catherine's home, and you have your aprons on, and you look like you've rolled up your sleeves and you're ready to go.
Yep.
Let's see. I think I have another picture as well. Yes, this one you're both at a different position, sitting at the table, and it looks like you have a tray set up with compartments in it for your paints, so that as you apply water and the brush, and you kind of keep your blues where the blues go and the reds where the reds go, and that sort of thing.
That is correct. And that's actually a styrofoam plate that you get at at any store. It's a disposable plate, and it's square. And we made it that way because I could easily use the palette paper, but my only challenge to that is it doesn't have any divider. So if I'm painting independently, I won't be able to know if I'm dipping into a different color.
Right.
So those different sections will allow me to keep the reds where the reds go and keep the greens where the greens go, like what you were mentioning.
So once you have some initial guidance with in terms of knowing where to dip, you sort of memorize the route, right? And you can return to that same spot. Is that
Yeah,
how
if
it
I
works?
yes, if I do it every day, yes, that's pretty much how it works.
So you have some hand over hand help from Catherine initially, and then you sort of ready, set, go. You know what's going on, and she's giving you a little guidance in terms of going horizontal and going vertical and that sort of thing.
Right.
Is that how that works?
Hmm.
Oh, that's great. Um, I want to bring up another one of your first paintings. We're going to have a look at your paintings. We're also going to include in the description box links to videos that you've made with Catherine. I know of at least six uh, painting adventures the two of you have been on. And what's that like doing video? Is that an exciting element or does it intimidate you or how does that work?
Well, first of all, in the beginning, it makes me nervous because I'm like, well, I don't want to say that I'm not supposed to say, but after a while, it's actually fun because after the video is uploaded, I get to show it to my friends, and my friends get to enjoy it. It's like being with me while I paint in
Oh,
a way.
that's a great perspective. And how about a little commentary about facing something that's challenging and pushing through it? Because there's a lot of people who are listening who one might not think that they can be artistic, or two that they just are kind of intimidated to try something. What would your advice be for folks like that?
You especially you don't want to sell yourself short, if I can say that. Because there's a lot of things you can try out there. And don't just say, "Oh no, I don't want to try it." Um, Especially when somebody is willing to work with you, I would really encourage you to try it. Whether it's art or sports or cooking or learning how to design your own website. Um, there,
Ah, that's that's
there,
one, that's one that can apply to me. Designing your own website. Well, Maria, you are instilling a wave of confidence and bravado to those that are coming up with excuses because I mean you're blind and you're painting. That's tremendous.
I mean, and also, um, if you put um, God in the center of your life, I can't believe I'm saying this, but you know, people say I've heard people time and time again, if you put God and our Creator in the center of your life, everything will work.
Well, I'm glad to hear about your spiritual sensitivity and wisdom to know to do that. That's another very important part of the message here is that faith makes things work. And you're a great example of that. I am now brought up a picture of you holding a finished painting that you did a stencil of Today I Choose Joy with a big smile on your face. Can you talk about the finished product and
Yes. Yeah, that's a I have to say I like that painting. It's one of my favorites. Um yes, today that says that yes, I we use a stencil, and you the message to that is you should choose joy every day. It is very difficult, but you I encourage everybody to choose joy, especially if you enjoy things that you're doing.
well, how about something practical? Because there are people, I can guarantee you, that are listening that have not chosen joy this day or may not choose it tomorrow. But for some reason or other they've found your message. And part of that message should be, how do you find joy? How do you find joy?
Well, everybody has challenges, and everybody is gonna have some bumps on the road, but you still have to find joy in life. Um, one of the, I mean, I know I'm gonna need assistance whenever I do something, especially when I do something new. But I find joy because I meet different people, and I get to, talk to them and be with them and spend time with them. So that's how I look at it, and that's how I find joy.
Well, that's a great commentary because what you're doing is you're appreciating the people that you're with and you're seeing them as a gift. And I think that's a great beginning to finding joy is realizing the people that you have in your life are there as part of a grander design and they're important elements of how your day works and
Yes,
the meals that you have and the stories that you tell and things like that.
yes, yes. I agree. That's good. That's yes. That's basically it.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear you say that. I think it's going to help a lot of people. Part of what we're doing is our outreach is going to be traveling to the continent of Africa. We're very excited about that through a television network in Ontario in the city of Guelph. It's called KITV Network. And they're featuring some of our programming because there are people in Africa that are quite curious about life in the U.S. and life with faith, and this is going to be one of the things that they see. So you will be. I know they already have outlets in Europe, but you're going to be also in the continent of Africa, speaking to people, and some of the people that you're speaking with will be blind like you, and you're giving them a definite shot on the arm of you can do it, that type of thing. So it's ministering.
Well, I mean, anybody can do it. Really, it's um, if you put your mind to it, you can do it.
That's right. That used to be a little song that we used to sing to the kids.
Yes,
So
and people say um, you have to give gratitude for whenever you get up every morning, because some people are not able to move. Some people have no hands. Some people have no feet. Um,
that's right. So
and they're able. Yes.
gratitude is an essential element of putting together our days, especially when we're all facing things like the COVID and we're being housebound more than normal. And
Thank you for bringing that up. Yes. We're feeling isolated because we can't gather, we can't see our families. And thanks for technology that we can get together virtually.
yes, you just did a very creative adventure with some friends. You had some tea, didn't you, together?
Oh, yes, I did. In the peak of COVID, and, we've been talking about having tea parties for a while. And I said, because there's different platforms. I'm sure people are aware, like Google Meet or Hangouts, or if you have FaceTime or even Zoom. We use one of those platforms to have a virtual tea party.
Well, that was great. How long did that last? I'm sure other people would be curious about how that all came together.
We we, we probably did it for, I don't know, 2 hours.
Oh, good. And you just talked about different things, or did somebody read a book, or what went on?
We just caught up, and it's me and two friends. So it gave two of my friends to catch up, and you know um, and it gave all of us to talk, a chance to talk and to enjoy each other's company, because one of the friends that we invited lives in another state. So
Wow.
during the peak of COVID, as you can imagine, it was so difficult or challenging to travel because you don't know. And at the time they we didn't really have the vaccines available. So we're like, okay, we're gonna get together. And yes, we cannot get together in person, but we can get together virtually.
Well, that's a great story, and it's something that anybody can do, and whether you're young or older. It's some technology that's fairly easy to navigate, and if you get somebody who can show you the ropes, you can get started and have a scheduled meeting. So I'm going to get back to art here, and thank you for sharing that story. But let's go to the
Well,
paint.
yeah, there's so many ways you can get together and put art. You know, um, one of my friends or one of my cousins saw this painting and she goes, "Oh, you should have a thing where you can do a sip and paint." And I'm like, "I don't know if that's a good idea for the artist, because depending on, because she's talking about having wine and painting." I said, "I don't know if that's a good thing to do for the artist. The artist might get mighty drunk."
Well, let's hope not. Those are actually pretty popular programs. I've heard of
Yeah.
them and seen them set up where an instructor leads a large group of people through a painting exercise.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I've got your painting up of the Christmas tree. And can you talk to us a little bit about that? It's beautiful. It's got a, well, you describe it for us.
Sure. Yes, it is beautiful. I agree with you. Um, Christmas is very special to me. Um, I I remember, every time Christmas comes around, we make a big deal out of it because my grandparents, they made a big deal out of it. So I chose to paint something about Christmas, and we were just gonna have something simple, but that's what it came out, because I have a very wild imagination. So that's how it came out. It has some, I think, rolling hills and snow and a tree and a star and moon.
Yeah, there's a beautiful full moon, and there's a nice kind of vista in the background, and then in the foreground is a tree that's not just a perfectly shaped Christmas tree, but it's one that's been decorated. So you've put in Christmas ornaments, and there's lights, and there's a star on top of the tree, and you've got a splattering of stars in the night sky, and a great foreground of a big snowy field. It's a really successful piece of art. I just want to
Yeah, I'm sure.
congratulate you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not sure if we put lights there. We forgot. I think we forgot that little detail.
All right. Well, maybe it's just the dots of red that you've put in there against the complement green makes them really jump out.
Yeah, it's a very nice tree. We were even thinking, if we have that tree, how much we would sell it for.
Ah. Well, speaking of selling things, we're coming to that next sequence where we're going to transition to your autumn painting, and we're going to talk about that you're offering this as a fundraiser. One of the things that Hope Through Arts does is it has the artists bring to everybody's attention a charity that's special to them. And you are actually bringing two charities, which is fine. And I'm going to have you talk to us about them. And you're also dedicating 100% of the proceeds for the sale of this beautiful autumn painting. Reminds me of your description of your day, your first day painting. And it's got a beautiful leaf treatment that you've done. Looks like an oak tree with a splattering of stippling of different colors into the leaves. It's very creative. And there's a background of brush or trees. There's a beautiful blue sky that has streaks of whitish blue running through it, and even flowers in the most foreground, like little grasses that are coming up, and a bench. So what you're doing is you're offering this for a bid anywhere higher than $300, and you can contact us through the website or through the YouTube channel. There'll be a link there. And the highest bidder, if there's more than one bidder, then we will let you know as it progresses. The idea is that you can have this as a reminder of what courage is all about. This is something to inspire you and your family or your office staff, because there's a story behind it, and now you know part of the story. This is a painting that was painted by Maria. It's a painting that's also raising funds for two charities that are very near and dear to her heart that she's going to talk to us about right now. So it's a painting with a cause. Go ahead, Maria.
Oh yes, thank you. Yes, one of the charities that I would like to donate to is called Xavier Society for the Blind, and that organization is they are putting religious books, in a format that I can read, whether it's audio or braille. Um, but in order to be able to have those, is they get support through uh, people like you and me, and because it's very costly to make those things happen, especially in braille. Because if you especially and also for audio, if you put things in audio, not only you have to buy one book, you have to buy two books, because somebody has to be reading and somebody is making sure, or has to make sure, that you are reading everything that's in that book, whether it's uh, a caption, or it's the different charts, or whatever it is. And in braille, it's very time consuming, and we don't use just a regular computer paper. We use a special kind of paper, and we use a special equipment, and in order you have to maintain that equipment, so you have to pay for repair and the maintenance, so that and also
Yes.
the
Well, that's quite a bit there. We will include a link to the Xavier Society as well as NAMI, which you're going to describe to us next, for people to investigate a little more in depth about what these fine people are doing to help the world and instill hopefulness, which we're very excited to be supporting here. So
yeah.
tell us about NAMI.
Yes, thank you again. Yes, NAMI stands for National Alliance for Mental Illness, and I've known a couple family members and friends who have been touched by this mental illness, and basically they help people and their families how to deal with whatever they're going through, whether it's um, uh, anxiety, or depression, or social things. They have support groups for that, and they also have support groups and courses for their families to be able to help them. Um, Especially with this whole pandemic, everybody's feeling isolated.
Yes, that hasn't made things easier, that's for sure. So that's another wonderful organization. Thank you. I didn't even know anything about either of these before I had met you. So you've definitely brought some light into an area, which is our hope with our show, is to introduce causes that are worthy of support. So I want to conclude today with a quote from Helen Keller, which I think is very appropriate for the story that you've told and the person that you are. It goes like this: the best and the most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. And this is from the woman who was also blind and developed the whole idea of Braille. So, and that's a system of reading and learning it's global. It's brought so much hope to so many. I just felt it was appropriate to share that with you and our audience.
Well, yes, Helen Keller is a person that's blind and, or I should say, visually impaired and also hearing impaired. Um, she, I think she did public speaking, and um, I really love that quote
Okay.
because the things that you can do, or the things that you can do for somebody, sometimes, a lot of the times, you can't touch it or you can't see it.
Well,
It
it's a ripple effect. You do
Yeah,
something and it just kind of keeps going out concentrically from you to affect and touch lots of other people.
yes. So, but you could be seen by the heart. Companionship is one of them. Keep somebody company, visiting somebody, painting with somebody.
That's a
That
good
that
one. Yeah. Well, Maria, I just want to thank you. You've been a delightful guest and an inspiring person. So we will keep you in our thoughts and prayers and look forward to seeing an update somewhere down the road.
Thank you, Tomas, and thank you all as well for tuning in.
Very good. Thank you and God bless you.